Well, Jane, welcome back again to Texas.
Thanks.
Good to see you. You were here, of course, for China Syndrome, and a few weeks after that is when 3 Mile Island hit, and the whole thing just brought your film to the foreground. I wonder, what could possibly happen like that that would just spark off 9 to 5?
In the offices of America? There's already an eruption in the offices of America. There's a very powerful movement growing among secretaries. It's called Women Working, the National Association of Women Office Workers.
It's a union, is it?
It's an association. There are unions as well. SEIU organizes secretaries in a number of locations. But it's a loose association, mainly made up of women who believe that women should be paid the same as men for doing the same work and be treated with more respect. And we're trying to reflect in the film the fact that the work that clericals do, men and women, because there are plenty of men secretaries, is important work. You can run a company without a boss, but not without a secretary. Women feel their work is important. They know that it's skilled work, and they want to be treated with respect that manifests itself both in the paycheck and in their treatment in the office. What's unusual about our film is that it deals with this very serious subject as a comedy. Have you seen it?
Yes, oh yes, yes, and people were laughing and applauding all over the place.
We've shown it to a lot of audiences, and they just roar. They just roar. It's very funny, and men love it just as much as women, and I think it's going to make a lot of people very happy.
And maybe a few people a little mad because they'll see themselves.
Well, nothing's fun if it's not controversial.
Right. You play a woman who has never worked before. And of course, Jane Fonda has been working, it seems like, most of her life. What was the very first job you ever got paid for, Jane?
Well, I guess when I was about 16 in summer stock working as an ingenue, I got paid. I took odd jobs along the way, but I really became an actress when I was 20.
What other kinds of things did you do besides act or work in theater or in films?
Oh, I tried a lot and got fired. I was never too good at... I think I became an actress because I couldn't do anything else very well.
What did you try? Secretarial things?
Yep. Got laid off because I wouldn't sleep with the boss. I sold copy for a review. That didn't last too long. I tried not to be an actress because I didn't like much of what I saw in the industry. I grew up in it and thought people were pretty egocentric and kind of isolated from reality. But given a little encouragement from a man named Lee Strasberg, who runs the Actors Studio, that's what I committed myself to when I became an adult. But the role that I played in 9 to 5 shows a woman in a very common situation. I've met a lot of women like that. I structured meetings with them. Last year when I was on the promotional tour for the China Syndrome, I had the organizers all around the country set up meetings with women over 40 who had never worked in their lives and who were divorced or widowed and who had to go to work, and how they felt about it, what was it like the first day arriving at work, and it was on the basis of what I heard from them that I structured my character.
Well, it's a viable characterization because I think we can all see women like that. If we're not that woman, we certainly have seen them. Are you ever insecure, Jane? Do you ever have any insecure feelings?
A lot, a whole lot, sure. As a professional woman, practically every time I start a film, as my husband will testify to, I go through a period of weeks when I think I can't do it. I should be fired. Someone else can do it better. I just think I'm no good. Once we start the film, you get too absorbed to be thinking that way, but I always feel like it's my first film and I don't know what I'm doing. I always question my judgment about whether it's the right thing to do. If I'm not so frightened or insecure, it's because I'm not alone. I have a family that's very supportive and very strong. My husband, my kids, my father, and so forth. When I'm on my own, left to my own devices and have to make all the decisions, I'm a basket case. I really am.
What's the best advice your father ever gave you? About anything.
The best advice he ever gave me was nothing he ever said. It was just by being what he is, which is, I think, the best way a parent can ever teach anything to a child, through example. He has integrity. And I learned by osmosis from him the importance of integrity and sticking up for the underdog. All my life I saw a man who stood up for the underdog and identified with the underdog. And you know, that's how I hope to teach my children. I'm also real strict. You know, I lay down the law and so on, but I know that what really will teach them won't be the rules and regulations. It will be whatever examples I set up. Sometimes I wish I could be better at that.
You have described yourself as being a feisty person. Did you get that from your dad?
I got it partly from my dad and partly from watching my mother, who wasn't feisty, go under.
Was your mother a kind of quiet, introverted person?
No, she was very extroverted, but she never fought for herself and didn't stand up for what she believed, and had a tremendous amount of energy and talent that had no outlet. And I know too many women who get burnt up with when all the outlets are blocked. They have no way to express themselves, and there's no context in which they can do it, and it's very destructive. But, you know, I'm a product of my times. I'm a kid of the 50s, and in those days, no one ever expressed themselves, right? And I would have gone on that way all my life if it hadn't been for the issue of the war, which just got me in the gut. I just felt real strongly, so I started expressing myself. When I feel strongly, I do, but if, you know, I change as times change.
You didn't really do any campaigning during this last presidential election, did you, Jane?
I couldn't get it up for too many of them. No, I didn't. I didn't campaign, no.
What is your feeling about Reagan as president?
I am not too hopeful that our problems are going to be solved, frankly. I think it's going to have to come from the grassroots, from people in communities who start saying, I don't care if I'm a Republican or a Democrat or young or old or right or left or whatever, I've had it. And I'm going to get together with you and you and you, and we're going to do something about it, because our leaders aren't doing it, and we're going to have to force them to. We can't turn it over to, I don't care if it's Reagan or Carter or whoever, we can't turn it over to people with facile answers or preachers who try to turn religion into politics. We've got to do it ourselves. That's always the way we've done it. It's what our country stands for, and it means being controversial, it means stirring up the dust. It's the only way it's going to happen, and I have complete and total confidence in us as a people that when push comes to shove, we're going to do it.
Amen. Amen. Jane, 9 to 5, I know is going to be a smash hit for you. And I don't know what
it's so funny. How come we always get in such serious conversations with me? I do have a sense of humor. It is a funny movie. We didn't mean to be that serious.
It's lots of laughs and lots of fun.
I'm glad
Jane,
you like it.
It's so nice to see you again.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.